Okay, it is 3:30, friends. Let's get started. So, if you didn't hear it before in my introduction, I'm Kimberly Moller. I am a neurocentric voice teacher. I like to call myself a voice trainer because I'm working with the entire body. I'm working with all of the experiences that you've had, and a lot of folks keep things that they don't realize in their brain, or their brain is restricting access to belt, access to areas of their voice that they might not realize their brain is not devoting time and energy to. So our goal today is to try and allow the brain to experience kinesthetically what it feels like to actually break past that barrier and experience freedom in singing like you've never felt before. Or when you felt it, if it's like sometimes consistent. But the reason why these things are not consistent sometimes is because we all have a bucket in our brains. We all have a threshold that this bucket of stressors can live in. This concept in neurology is called the threat bucket. And all of the things you've ever experienced in life live in this threat bucket. So that could be not getting enough sleep. That could be your nutrition habits. That could be an ankle injury that you sustained years and years ago. It could be dental work. It could be allergies. It could be a lot of different things. It could be the glasses you're wearing. So there's so many different avenues, but today I'm going to boil it down to just two or three different systems, one of which will just be a little bit of rib cage mobility so we can get better and reflexive breathing. That's what I'm interested in, because if the system is not reflexive, then we are typically, not going to remember that. We're not going to continue on as if it's muscle memory, and you're going to have to think really, really hard about doing the thing again. And my goal is that you get as many repetitions as you can during the day so that it does become reflexive and muscle memory. So I'm going to take a baseline of where I am today, and I'd love you to do the same. I have decided to work on a little tiny bit of I Dreamed a Dream from Les Mis. So I'm going to take a vocal baseline, and then I'm going to take a physical baseline. So physically, here's what you're going to do. You're going to stand, and you're going to see where your low back is today. Well, I don't love this, so I'm going to turn this off. Woo! Be casual here, okay? Come as you are. Welcome. Do a forward bend. Kind of see where your low back is today. If that is not a thing that tightens up for you, then take an assessment with your feet together, and you're going to alligator chomp in front of you. We're going to rotate just the upper body as best you can. Oh, okay. So I went to the chiropractor today, and still I have quite a bit of tension more on one side than the other. But notice where your right side is versus your left side today. Okay, and then you need a singing baseline. So I'm going to take, something that we don't care hearing a gazillion times. How about, and still I dreamed you'd come to me. This is a good middle voice belt. If we feel good about testing this higher belt range, but there are dreams that cannot be. Okay, I haven't done a ton of singing today. That's where my baseline is. Now we're looking to improve that. Okay, couple of things that I want to look at first, because I'm the brain lady, right? We're going to focus on the brain and actually feeling the areas that I ask you to move. Doesn't that sound great? Like, sometimes teachers out there say, raise the soft palate. What does that mean? If you can't feel what that means, you're definitely not going to be able to move it, right? So I'd love for you to stick your tongue to the roof of your mouth. If that is comfortable for you, if it's really uncomfortable for you, make sure to close your mouth. And then draw a figure 8. try your best to keep your jaw from moving too much. Keep breathing and release that, and then retest your singing again and see where that is. And still I dreamed he'd come to me. Yeah, okay, so I've got a little more height in there. See how you feel out there. See if there's any change for you, if you feel like, oh, I can feel the top of my mouth now. Interesting. And then, take a physical assessment if you like as well. Okay, well, my brain definitely liked that. My hands went quite a bit further to the side. And just a note on this, if you are taking an assessment, you do not want to move like so. You want to keep this together and only, repeat the same action that you did before. So the idea is we're going to be adding a new input into your system and take something out of this, the perceived threats in your threat bucket. Awesome. Olivia says, whoa, the resonance change after that figure 8. So simple, right? It's so simple, but can I feel my soft palate? Yes, now I can move it. Amazing, right? So let's keep going with this. Let's take something else out of this threat bucket and let's work specifically on a little challenge that I'm going to have way more on come the 12 days of cranial nerves, which will be in December. But today I'd love for you to grab some kind of flavored beverage. So run to the kitchen if you're in the kitchen. If you don't have anything that's super crazy flavored and strong, try this out later, or use what you have. Use water, use if you have electrolytes, that will work too. Coffee, it will work, but it's not as strong of a flavor. So go ahead and take this and put this down for just a second. The reason we're doing this is so that we can make sure that the back of the brain gets the information it needs in order to tell the front of the brain, okay, we're good. Because the frontal lobe is going to tell the little box in your throat what to do. Okay? So we want to make sure that this information running back to front is definitely going to keep you from giving yourself way too much anxiety to even make any changes. Okay, no problem, Catherine. Please try these things out later. So thanks for being here. I'm so glad you made it over. So grab your OJ or whatever you have. And what you're going to do is, why don't we take a physical assessment right before this? I'm going to do a lateral tilt of the neck. There we go. Cool. Now you are going to take a little tiny bit of this liquid and we are going to tilt the head back and to the right. Here we go. Then back and to the left and compare and swallow. That's it. Here we go. Woo, my brain does not want to do that today. So allow that liquid to go to the back, trickle down to the back part of your throat in the right side, and then compare that to the left. I don't know about all of you, but I had one side that tasted a little bit different. Now you could also test this with not just flavor, but hot and cold. This could be, do I feel more cold sensation on one side, or do I feel it, more on the equally? So take that assessment for yourself. Yep. So it's more difficult for me to even open the left side of my throat and allow that liquid to trickle in. There's something protective about that in there. So guess what? We're going to gargle on the side for me that has less flavor. Do the same for yourself. Here we go. And then we're going to go right into singing and we'll retest our body. And swallow. And still I dreamed he'd come to me, that we would live the years together. lot of excitement there because that felt so good. I'm going to do that from But There Are Dreams. Here we go. But there are dreams that cannot be, and there are storms we cannot weather. Okay, so I feel pretty like light years away from where I was when I first started. That B, although I had a surge of breath flow and it was a little bit scary, in that But There Are Dreams, the whole first part of that felt quite a bit more alive and on fire, just like active in the breathing. So I'm going to gargle a little bit again, and I'm going to go ahead and do my But There Are Dreams just to sort of allow my body to process this and what just happened. Please feel free to like jump in the chat and tell me what your feelings are if you tried this out and it was any different. I'm going to test my body physically this time first, and then I'm going to sing But There Are Dreams. Now, notice I'm seated, right? It's a little bit different, but I'm going to try and keep myself active. Here we go. It's pulpy. And swallow. Oh, yeah. Wow. Do you see this range? Okay. Here we go. But there are dreams that cannot be, and there are storms that cannot weather. I can like feel all the emotion bubbling up that I have access to. Okay, the N in there got me a little bit. We'll talk about those kinds of things in a minute, but I'd love to hear from anybody that's around trying these things, how that was side to side. If you can describe the sensation for yourself so you can think about, how you're going to recreate this on your own. I don't know about anybody else out there, but when I do this, I started feeling a little bit of anxiety as I was trying a new platform on. Yes, go-to thing. I love it. It's a great way to reduce anxiety and particularly, work on this hypoglossal nerve. Hypoglossal, glossopharyngeal, it's quite a few of them, and the vagus nerve that runs all the way down to the gut. So this is a great way to get the sensory in your throat. And I personally feel like my heartbeat just like chills out and slows down, and I'm much more in control of what's going on. Okay, cheers, everybody. Now, just to keep going in the world of sensory awareness, I'd love for you to grab a toothbrush or something out there that vibrates, that you're okay with putting in your mouth. Okay, if it doesn't vibrate, that's okay. We can just work on the bristles. But these are very, very simple things that can, that can get your body online. And once we get those, quell that anxiety a little bit, then we can, usually take more direction in singing and work more on the technical aspect of things. So let's do it. My anxiety definitely manifests in my throat. Okay, Olivia says, so anything to relax and balance this area is great. Yes, physically, actually, though, right? Cool. So your anxiety may also sort of manifest in breathing. So please notice what's happening in your breathing as you do these kinds of drills. See, like on a 1 to 10 scale, measure where that anxiety is today, so you have an assessment of some sort. Okay. All right, let's move on. You're going to turn on whatever vibrating device you have, if you have a vibrating toothbrush. And if you don't, just go ahead and use the bristles. And you're going to stroke your tongue from back to front. Or from front to back, either way. And take in this information and really, really think about, does my right side feel like my left side? Can I feel each individual bristle? And we'll go under as well. Just make sure that you continue breathing. And if anything feels scary, you can always opt out. I had a student that really benefited from this kind of work, had trouble when he was a baby latching on, and with solid foods as well, a very difficult time with that. And we began this kind of sensory, and I cannot tell you how different he sounded in 1 week. It was incredible. Just these last few lessons. Okay. If you're just go inside and notice if anything feels different than the other. If not, just be fine with waking up these nerves. And now gently bring this to the roof of your mouth. And this is going to get very, very ticklish if you have bristles, but go very slow. If you need to turn the vibration off, that's totally fine. Continue breathing. Ooh. So we'll do the hard palate where the teeth are in the front. That's a little less ticklish for me. And then I'm going to pull it back just a bit. Be gentle here and be careful that you're not hitting your gag reflex. Keep breathing. Whew. Okay, turn that off. Retest your body in some way. Retest your singing. Oh, yes. My brain likes that. And still I dreamed he'd come to me, and that we would live the years together. Wow. Yes. That's quite active and exciting. It feels pretty chill out here. I feel so much more active. I don't know if you can hear my speaking voice has changed a bit. Measure where your anxiety is. If that brought your anxiety up versus down, we just want a definitive answer one way or the other so we know how to back off of this or increase the input. Okay, that's how it all works. You put the input, more input into your brain, we scramble it around, and then that creates a motor output. Okay, woo! I can really feel my mouth now. Everything is on. Sidebar, if you have any kind of dental work, and in particular, I'm just going to let you know about something that has affected me, but on the left side of my body, I have had a root canal. So I typically, as part of my warm-up, I vibrate and bite down on an electric toothbrush, or this is called the Z-Vibe, if you're interested. It's on Amazon. There's a couple of different versions of it. This is the one I really like. I bite down on this flat surface right here, and I'll just show you how I sound when I sing with it. And still I dreamed it'd come down here, we would live the years together. And still I dreamed he'd come to me, that we would live the years together. Cool. So I always feel like I have more facility, more things are online when I do this kind of stuff because my body likes vibration. Singers like vibration. For the most part, people test better with this kind of stuff. So notice how that was for yourself. If you haven't tried it out yet, go try it tonight or whenever you get home. Play with it a little bit and see if it changes your input and your singing. Okay. Let's, now that we can feel a lot of what's happening inside the mouth, now let's turn to a little bit of rib cage mobility so that you can really feel what's going on there. And then we're going to do two just training the tongue position and belt exercises. Okay. Hopefully we have time to do both of those things. So for rib cage mobility, I'd love for you to stand, and we're just quite literally going to glide from side to side. So we're going to go side, side. This is already feeling quite stiff on me today. If you've been sitting at a computer or at the piano, notice that. Notice if there's one side that's worse than the other. I'm going to go ahead because I can feel there's just a lot of tension in here. I'm going to rub and give myself some more sensory. The picture of my hands is way bigger than the picture of this area of the body. So I'm rubbing. I'm going to actually rub this area where my ribs are. Get that visceral response on the inside. Okay. All right. Now I'm just going to rotate behind me. Open up this area a bit. And then we're going to reach up. We're going to do kind of a ragdoll position. Okay, reaching up. We'll concave the chest, really round the spine. And then we'll go over to the other side. Cool. We'll go this way. Round the spine. Come up. There we go. For those of you out there that follow me and know what's available, I have a joint warm-up that is free on my website when you sign up for my newsletter. And it is honestly quite life-changing. When you warm up all of the joints in your body, you're getting more synovial fluid in each one of them. That just makes everything more flexible and supple, and your breathing is affected. Everything is affected up the chain. So I highly, highly suggest moving your body a little bit and mapping each one of your joints. We're going to map the rib cage now. Glide right, squeeze the shoulder blades, front, left, concave the chest. We'll do that 2 more times. Okay. We'll do that the other direction. Really make sure you concave. If you notice any choppy areas, make that circle smaller. Breathe. Lower that threat around that area. Retest. Better. And still I dreamed he'd come to me, that we would live the years together. This is definitely, my breathing is starting to get way more grounded. Okay, we got time. We are going to do 2 more little actual belt drills now. So this is something I use to develop mix and belt. They complement each other. The first thing is called myroning. So what I'm going to do in the song is I'm going to say the word sing, and in that NG sound, the velum, or the soft palate and the little ball that hangs in the back of your throat is actually going to come down to where the tongue is, and the tongue is going to come up. We're going to just make a wall there so we get this vowel or this consonant. Sing. Then we're going to mouth our words. I know that seems really weird. It's going to be a really funny sound. It'll sound like this. Does not matter if it's head dominant or chest dominant. Do that a couple times. If this is odd for you, it's odd for everybody. But you have to really isolate those consonants and make sure that you are saying them, creating a little more independence in the front of the mouth. Or you can think of it as sensory, more sensory. Head dominant, chest dominant, doesn't matter. One more. Now open it, let the floodgates go. And still I dreamed he'd come to me, that we would live the years together. Notice if those spaces have shifted at all, or if you feel any different in mixing and or in your belt. I love using this exercise in something like Some Things Are Meant to Be from Little Women. Speaking of Little Women, I have a friend on here, Olivia, from a show we did together a long time ago. It wasn't that long ago, but some things are meant to be. If you're having any trouble in the mix area, this is an exercise I love to do with students. So try that out. All right. we've arrived. This is our final exercise. I miss that show too, Olivia. So this is the final thing. I feel like now that we've woken up all of the nerves in many of the nerves in the tongue and the throat, all of that area, now we can apply more actual motor or activity, in training the tongue position. So here's the way I'm going to do that. I am going to stick the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Now, if you have a shorter tongue tie or frenulum, then this might be uncomfortable for you. This might be really difficult, and that's okay. Sit this one out. If there's any kind of pain, do not move forward. Please listen, try it on your own carefully. But if it causes pain, the brain does not want any part of that. So we have to find another way around it. Reach out if that's the case. Now, for everybody else out there, stick your tongue to the roof of your mouth. This is its new resting position. Noses are for breathing, mouths are for eating. So we're going to train this whole position through your entire day. This will probably change a lot of things about your body, but it will also help your singing. Here's how you're going to use it in singing. You're going to do 3 head dominant singing with the tongue pressed to the roof of the mouth, 3 times singing your belt phrase, head dominant, to 1 belt. Really train this position by bringing it up there. You're going to kind of think more of an E vowel so that tongue position is very high. Do that again. See what other things want to help you out and uninvite them to the party. I'm just going to sidebar tell you that the negative demonstration of this is my tongue is too low. So we don't want this to live down here. We want it to live in E, pressing really high up there. Let's do one more. E. All right, we've trained the position. Now let's sing in the belt. And still I dreamed he'd come to me, that we would live the years together. See how that feels for you now. Repeat this exercise. Repeat it in areas that maybe don't feel like the most comfortable sound for you. And if things feel like they get stuck in your throat, see if actively pressing the tongue to the roof of the mouth helps you here. If you have any kind of tongue dysfunction, you can tell this pretty immediately by holding your tongue straight out. And you might have to hold it there for a solid minute or 2. But you'll notice that one side may get a little bit more tired than the other. Typically, mine goes over to the left side. So the tongue goes to the side of brain dysfunction. So if that is the case and it goes over to that side, I'm going to press the tongue into the right cheek, the opposite cheek. And here we go. Do this maybe 3 more times, pressing for 5 seconds at a time, and we'll isolate this part of the tongue. These are our tongue push-ups. Be gentle here. Continue to breathe. And retest. And still I dreamed he'd come to me. Yes. Okay. Retest yourself physically as well. Yes. Okay. This is looking pretty good. And then retest, something further away. Your body. Still way better. I don't know if you can see that. But holy cow, I'm on the ground now. I was not on the ground before. So try out a couple of these exercises. Let me know how they go. I hope that was really beneficial and fun for you. Start with sensory in the brain. Start with feeding that part of the brain so that we can then tell our larynx, the little tiny box in the throat, what to do with less anxiety, because we know where the throat is in space. We know where the soft palate is. We know where the tongue is. Okay, friends. I hope that was beneficial for you. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment, subscribe. I will be going live more often, and I've got some fun things coming down the pipeline. So please sign up for my newsletter if this kind of stuff interests you. I will be releasing an exciting product next week that will teach you 5 drills for your nervous system that are like amazingly effective for so many different systems, like posture, stability. I've got a breathing drill in there that is so fantastic. And I want everybody in the world to experience it. So it's going to be released next week. And I look forward to, having any feedback that you have to offer about these. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of your day and a happy Thanksgiving.